Hi everyone, it's Mariah Rossel with A Journey of Beauty. Today I wanted to talk to you about why the law of attraction may not be working for you. So before I began my training to become MAP coach, to do work on MAP training, which I'll talk more about in another video, I went through the process to become a law of attraction coach. I love the law of attraction. I think there's a lot of very valuable things with the law of attraction. And one of the things that I found was that it didn't seem to work for everyone. And one of the reasons that it seems that it's not working for everyone is because of what it required to change the internal mindset. So for instance, one of the ways that the law of attraction works is you want to have $1 million. And so you say, why do you want $1 million? First of all, what does that make you feel like? How does it make you feel like? Feel it inside and out. And then notice how you can change your vibration and feeling to feel like that inside of your body. How can you feel that right now? How can you notice that around you? There's a lot more to it, and I don't want to take today's video to talk about that. But one of the things that I found is, well, what happens when someone is actually incapable of feeling those feelings? What happens if they're incapable of putting themselves into that positive state? Tangentially, I had a friend tell me that they went to a therapist, and the therapist suggested putting sticky notes around with positive affirmations, or just standing in the mirror and in the morning saying things like, I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am wise. Whatever that positive affirmations were that this person needed. And my friend reported to me that they felt really hollow and empty trying to use positive affirmations because they felt so broken on the inside. And so when we deal with deep core wounding, deep issues, and we simply go to the first step of law of attraction, it can be really hard to have success with the law of attraction because we are not yet ready. The law of attraction only works when we are ready. And so that's where I find, and I have found within myself, and there may be people that have used the law of attraction to get them to this state of readiness. For me, that was not something that I had success with. So for me, what I had to do before I was able to work and play in the realms of the law of attraction was I had to do shadow work. I had to look at my shame, my doubt, my fear, my guilt, my uncertainty, my betrayals, all of these things. I had to look them in the face and say, this is what it is, this is what's holding me back, and this is how I tell my story. And I had to work through all of that before I was able to sit down and say, yes, now I am ready to be in the space where the law of attraction can work. Because the law of attraction works. And so it's an interesting conversation I hear with people a lot. They're like, well, light work and shadow work are the same. Well, yes and no. They're both working on different facets of the human psyche and where we're going. But the thing is, the shadow work is, our goal is to go into the shadow, find the depth of the shadow, bring the light into it, expose it, create a relationship with it, find that, right? But the hard thing is, if you just sit there and emanate and shine a bright light, then the shadow is not seen until that bright light is taken away. And so the shadow can continue to hide. It can get deeper and deeper into our psyches. It can hide more. It can become more of a trickster. We can repress it even more deeply. And so instead, it's like, how do we hold the space to go in deeply, find that shadow, connect with it, know it, learn its name, call it out, and then take the light and shine that light into that space of the shadow. The first step, at least in my experience, has been before the step of doing the work with Abraham Hicks, before doing the work that they talk about in The Secret, before doing any of this law of attraction work, is we have to do the shadow work. Because otherwise, at least what I experienced, was that I was doing really intense light work and enlightenment work and spiritual growth work, and I hadn't done my shadow work. And so what happened is I built this really beautiful castle, like this crystalline structure of amazing beauty, with the light work, with the spiritual work. It was gorgeous. But at the bottom, there was no solid foundation. It was super high and intellectual and spiritual, but it wasn't grounded into reality. And when I tried to ground it into reality, because I had a cracked foundation, because I hadn't dug deep and I hadn't put the roots into the earth and I hadn't built that foundation and I hadn't aligned the frequencies within myself that had been misaligned for so long, that there was nothing for this beautiful crystalline castle to actually live on, to stand on. And so, I mean, you've seen this in every national or natural disaster issue out there. You know, if there's a hurricane, if there's an earthquake, there's a flood, and a building has a poor foundation, it's going to collapse. And that's exactly what happened to me, is I had built this beautiful illusion of light work, of crystalline lattice work. However, because I didn't have the depth of grounding, it didn't matter that I could see my most miraculous dreams, because I had so many things that were buried deep in my subconscious, in my psyche, that I didn't even know existed, that were sabotaging this beauty that I was creating. And that's the thing, is you can manifest without doing the shadow work. You can manifest without digging deep and addressing those shadows. And at least in my experience, no matter how much light work you do, if you fail to address the places at the core, at the foundation, and in the subconscious, and the unconscious, and the things we don't know exist, they will always be there to eventually come up and lash out at the worst possible time. And we don't know when they're going to come out. We don't know what they are, because that's the nature of the subconscious. And so that's why we do shadow work. We do shadow work to make the subconscious, to make the unconscious conscious. So that way, if it does come up, we know what it is, we know its name, we can call it out, we can deal with it. And then, once we've addressed all of those things and we've created a stable foundation, and shadow work is very, very destabilizing. And once the shadow work is complete, it does such a beautiful job of cleansing that it creates a solid foundation. And now from that point, you can do the light work, and the light work will stay. Because that's the other thing I've seen, is so many people have done some of this light work, and then it's a roller coaster. They're like, I created this beautiful thing, and then it crashed. Oh, I created this other beautiful thing, and then it crashed. And so what we're doing with the shadow work is getting you to a point where you can stand firm and grounded and solid, so that when you build, it might be a little bit slower to do the building, because the shadow work takes a while to do. I recommend people spend at least a year and a day really diving into the shadow, and then building that light work, but once you do, you have that solid foundation, you have the stability, you have the balance, and it's gonna be really strong. And so think of it like a dancer. When she bends her knees, when she gets really grounded, she can reach out in every direction and have her balance because her foundation is so strong. And so, yeah, if you're struggling with the law of attraction not working for you, or if you are struggling with building these beautiful crystalline castles of light work and then having them completely fall to the ground, if you're going through any of these types of cycles, at least what worked for me was shadow work. And I love doing shadow work. I think it's a lot of fun. In a weird way. It's painful. It hurts. It's hard. But it's really fun to help people with it and see them have these miraculous transformations. And it's really fun, I think, for me to do that work within myself, not when I'm going through it, but to say, oh, I went from here to here this quickly. And so that's what I absolutely love. So check out my blog, journeyofbeauty.com. I have linked it below. And if you're interested in shadow work and you want to start to dig deep with some of this stuff, I would love to work with you. Click the link below to book a session with me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.